good stuff. Welcome back, everybody. Professional wrestler, comic book collector, video game enthusiast, Zach the Ripper Comics here. And on today's episode, this is something... What did I say? And on today's episode, this is something that I've talked about since the beginning of this channel with close friends and family that I wanted to do. Not a huge thing, probably won't really be a real long video, but I wanted to go over these slabbed comic books that I have in my collection. Now, it's not a lot, it's only 4, but these 4 all have stories behind them, and these 4 mean a lot to me. Now, if you're not sure what a slabbed comic book is, basically, when there's a comic that you hold dear to you and you want to cherish forever and ensure that nothing happens to it, or if there's a book that's worth a lot of money and you want to keep it in that pristine condition as it grows and grows in value and interest over time, you could put it in this plastic slab. And what that does, it safely secures the comic book inside so that nothing can harm it. Obviously, if you ran over this thing with a car or something of the like, you could probably damage the plastic outside case. However, who's going to do that, right? When you get a comic book slabbed, it also gets graded. So something that doesn't even have a cover, that's only a page of a book, can get a 0 and it's not worth anything unless it's worth something to you personally. Other books can be in mint, pristine condition and get 9.9s and 10s. And what that does, those number grades basically determine what is the grade, what is the value of that book in particular. Now, obviously, the numerical financial value of the book, the monetary value, can depreciate or appreciate over time, so there's never an actual dollar amount placed on these labels. It's just the number grade of the book. There are a lot of different companies that do books, such as CBCS, CGC, and a host of other ones. Most people primarily use CGC or buy books from CGC just because they're the most reputable and they've been around the longest. And when you're looking up the value of slabbed books, odds are the highest number is going to come from CGC slabs. So the first of those 4 books is going to be Wolverine, the limited series from Marvel Comics, issue number 1. This series came out in 1982. This particular cover, this particular book, actually, I never owned as a kid. It's actually not in my personal collection other than this one. This was given to me by my dear, close, personal friend, Anthony Ushak. He's a patron on the Patreon page. He supports us all over social media. He's been a best friend of mine since preschool when we met each other at, 3 years old? We've known each other forever. We got into comic books together, and this was a gift from him on my birthday. This is the first solo Wolverine comic, and there's a Yukio cameo on the last page. This was a book that would hang inside my comic book shops when I was a kid, and it was always up on the wall for like $20, and with inflation, you're looking at probably $40, $45, $50 by now. But this was a book that I just could not afford because those kind of prices are just unheard of for kids. And as you can see, this is a 9.4. I'll try and get what that says there. Off-white to white pages. And then on the back of the book, can't go wrong with that kind of advertising. Very cool. So this was my first one, given to me by my dear, close, personal friend, Anthony Ushak. I know you're going to be watching. Thank you, brother. The second one in my collection was also given to me by the same Anthony Ushak. This is an X-Men number 1. This came out from Marvel Comics in 1991. This is a 9.8. You cannot get any closer to a perfect mint book, I guess, unless you had a 9.9. This is a Chris Claremont story. This is Jim Lee on the cover and all the art. A lot of people say Jim Lee did a lot more on the writing of this as Chris Claremont was on his way out. They were going with the New Blood. They were going with Jim Lee. This cover is legendary. I had this cover in a single form as a kid, and there's actually, I think, 3 different covers. You see Cyclops, Iceman, Wolverine. This is a gatefold. it does indeed fold out and reveal some other heroes when you would open this. As you can see, a 9.8. Completely white pages. Really cool advertisement there for those early X-Men figures. Colossus, Cyclops, Wolverine, Apocalypse, Juggernaut, Storm, Archangel, Magneto, and Nightcrawler. Now this next book is from Valiant Comics, the original Valiant that launched back in 1992. This is Harbinger #1, and I will explain here in a second why that label's green and not blue like the last two. It's a 9.2. What a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. All pages inside are white. It's a nice Mustang, back when Mustangs were nice, and if you have one, you know, sorry, not sorry. So the green label, as you can see, that says CGC qualified grade, and a qualified grade means that other than this one single simple thing, the book is in fantastic condition. In this case, a 9.2 based on the white pages and the overall condition of the book. This book is the first appearance of the Harbinger, which is Sting, Chris, Zephyr, Flamingo, and Torque. It's supposed to have a mail order coupon inside of it. When you would get all 4 coupons, you would get the story of Toyota Harada, and you'd also be able to send them in to get Harbinger #0. That coupon has been cut out of the book, as it's very hard to find one with the coupon inside. Therefore, it's a qualified book, an incomplete grade. So what is the book worth? Well, it depends. Harbinger #1 is very hard to find in a 9.2 condition for under $100, and it's only going to go up because there are rumors that there will be a Valiant Harbinger movie, despite the fact that Bloodshot did not do well. You have to remember that Bloodshot came out the week that the country, the United States, and most of the rest of the world had just shut down. It was the first movie to actually come out in the theater, quickly leave, and then go to the streaming services. So it didn't get the chance that it probably deserved. Was it good? I'll leave that for you guys to decide. Now this next slabbed comic book is the final one that we're going to be showing off here tonight. As I said, I only have 4, but this one holds a near dear spot in my heart. This is from Marvel Comics. It's a CGC book, 9.6, has white pages, so it's barely been read or even touched. It's the silver cover. This was when Todd McFarlane, who had done such an incredible job on Amazing Spider-Man, was given his own Spider-Man book. He was on there for 16 issues before starting Image Comics. This was another book that, when it came out in 1990 and I was a kid, I saw this up on the walls in my comic book store. Unable to afford it. Probably had a $20, $30, $40 price point at the time. Todd McFarlane stuff has always done really well and sold for really good amounts of money. There were a few different covers to this book, all the same Spider-Man pose, but some of them had a platinum background, which is very hard to find, gold background, this here the silver, and then there was the cover A, which was basically just a normal cover. All of the webbing was white, and behind him was kind of a green. Not really a cool looking cover color-wise. The silver, the gold, the platinum, I believe, was a retailer exclusive to a certain amount of shops. Not that many, as it's very pricey, usually in the $600 range, which is way too much for a book. As far as the back cover, as you can see, awesome ad for Contra. And what is that? Oh, Snake's Revenge, Metal Gear 2. And the cool thing about this one is that it does have a custom Spider-Man label from CGC. I had bought Chris Wilde, a dear close personal best friend of mine, from Eagles News Now on YouTube. Go check him out. I bought him this slab about a year ago for Christmas, birthday, something like that, as a gift for him and the things he's done on YouTube. You can probably see it displayed in the backgrounds of all of his videos. And this was one that I just had to splurge and buy myself. After I saw it arrive, slabbed for him, this was one of the books that I never had, and I still, as an adult, don't have this in a loose form. You thought you were getting away without a burp? Come on. You know how we do it. 3-pound polar. Oh, my dip. So those are all my slabbed comic books. Again, I only have a small, modest collection of 4. Not a hardcore collector of them, although I do appreciate and love them. And who knows when we'll add more to the Zack the Ripper Comics comic book shelf. Leave a comment below on what slabbed comic books you have or that you potentially want to get in the future. I want to thank all of my patrons on patreon.com/ZackTheRipperComics for helping pledge to and support this channel. It goes a long, long way, and you guys are all getting some awesome Zack the Ripper Comics merchandise in return for those pledges. For everybody finding us on Facebook, liking us on Instagram, hitting up the ebay.com/ZackTheRipperComics store to get all of those 99-cent auction comic books. There's currently over 100 of them up there. 300 have sold over the past 2 months. This has been fantastic. This sale ends on New Year's Day, just 1 week from now. For going to the teesprings.com/ZackTheRipperComics merchandise store, where you can get hoodies and sweatshirts and leggings and t-shirts, oh my, amongst a ton of other things, including fanny packs that we now have on there. And for liking this video, subscribing to the channel, as we have hit over 2,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you enough. All I can say is, until next time. Merry Christmas, everybody.